about a week ago, so this was weekend before last. So Ana Kasparian, who obviously, before I start talking about this, I want to just lay my cards on the table. I obviously am not objective here. She is a good friend in real life. She's somebody who obviously knew through Michael. She's been on this show many times. And spoiler alert, if anybody's wondering where this could end up, she is welcome to continue coming on this show as long as she wants to. But so weekend before last, she was on the show. It's PSA Sitch and Adam. Those are the names of the hosts, but I think it's also the name of the show. I was actually on the show once back in like winter 2018, maybe. It was a really long time ago. And it was actually, I think, the first debate sort of thing I ever did. I mean, I usually think of the one with Dave Smith as the first debate, but I think technically this one was, back then, at least, these guys were big Jordan Peterson super fans. I think they've moved away from him a bit. I don't want to, speak for them there. I'm just giving context. So in any case, so there's so Ana was on there. They had this like really wide ranging conversation. I think she was venting about a lot of things that she was frustrated about. And so it was mostly that rather than debate, but there were some very debating moments. And I did want to start out with one of those.
There are sectors of the economy, though, where I think that introducing or having a profit motive causes more harm than good. So for-profit prisons have been pretty disastrous. I don't think that it makes sense to have a profit motive in keeping people locked up. I don't think that there should be a profit motive in regard to healthcare, because when there is, then you're literally playing with people's lives. And look, if you get sick and you can't afford the treatment, of course you're going to be willing to go bankrupt in order to afford that treatment. And I just think that a lot of people have been preyed upon. A lot of Americans who help fund the research and development of pharmaceutical drugs have been price gouged by these pharmaceutical companies. Like, those are issues that I want to find solutions to. I'm supportive of worker co-ops, but I think that what's even more important at the moment and more realistic at the moment is increasing the number of unions or unionized workers. Unions used to be far more powerful in the country. There used to be far more unionized workers, and that gave them a seat at the table. That gave them some leverage in regard to their pay and working conditions. And I think that the dismantling and the destruction of labor unions has really led to some of the issues that we're experiencing right now. You look at some of these Nordic countries, they don't even have a federal minimum wage because labor unions negotiate pay raises on behalf of the workers. And I think that that model is far more effective than what we currently have in the United States. So I want workers to have a lot more power. I want to look, public option, I think, is better than what we have now, but I do really like and support a single payer healthcare system.
Do you understand the opposition to that? Because it's like you said, it's complicated, right? And yeah. I feel like a lot of the innovation in the healthcare industry, which I personally find important. I want to cure for cancer. I'm hoping like the AI stuff will help us move in that direction. But I do think the profit motive does foster massive amounts of innovation. And these other nations that have like some sort of universal healthcare system, I don't know that a lot of innovation is coming out of those systems. So I do kind of feel like they're taking advantage of the fact that we have this model, which I mean, you and I agree, it's terrible. Like, it's too far in the profit motive direction. But I worry about the single payer thing because I think it might be too far in the no profit motive. The difference between single payer and a public option is literally like the government is basically going to abolish private health insurance, and there's not going to be any private business involved.
Well, I mean, look, I think that so we have to differentiate the innovators, so those who are innovating new treatments, new medical, tools, all of that, from the actual healthcare system, right? Because the way that I envision it is these people who are innovating, oftentimes through investment by American taxpayers through the National Institutes of Health. Like, we fund a lot of that research and development, right? And then they turn around, they price gouge us. So like that, they'll still exist. They're still going to make money. But the reason why I like a single payer healthcare system is because the government has more leverage to negotiate the prices of those services, right? And so right now what's happening is you have all like this weird fractured system where there's all these different healthcare companies and all these different plans, and there's more leverage when you have greater numbers, right? So if the entire country is under a single payer healthcare system, the country has more leverage to negotiate those prices. What I worry about with a public option as opposed to a single payer healthcare system is that it'll create like this two-tiered system. And as you can see with other programs in the country, public schools, I think, is a good example. They start little by little defunding the public option. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Until it gets to a point where it's ineffective, flailing, all of that. And I am worried about that component of just having that two-tiered system of a private healthcare option and the public option. However, I will admit a public option, which is something that Biden ran on, would be far better than what we're experiencing today. I think that the Affordable Care Act, despite what the Republican Party would have you believe, is very much a Heritage Foundation policy that was implemented by Mitt Romney in Massachusetts. It is not in any way, I mean, it's forcing Americans to buy private insurance. That is what the Affordable Care Act was.
Well, not anymore. They abolished.
They did abolish that. So, but by the way, that was the
justification for it. Yeah.
Cost control, like the cost control portion of it. Because if you're forcing everyone to buy healthcare, then that's going to keep premiums low. Except that's not what happened. There was actually no price controls whatsoever. And these private insurers are like, well, you got to buy from us, so we can charge you whatever we want. You know, and that's ended up being a little bit of a disaster.
Yeah, which I like that. I like that a lot. Actually, I think that was like a really nice, tight explanation of a lot of the things that are wrong with having private health insurance, a lot of what's wrong with a lot of standard anti-Medicare for all arguments, why having a public option is not actually a good enough substitute for having Medicare for all. That, you know, when you're talking about a public option, essentially you're talking about a two-tiered system, or no, essentially, we can skip that word. You're talking about a two-tiered system for poor people and people with means. I mean, if you're poor enough, we already have a public option. It's called Medicaid, and lots of doctors don't take it because they can make more money from the private insurers. So again, going back to this kind of central theme for tonight about equality, I think that actually sort of treating people as being equal and having equal rights and equal dignity, if you're serious about that, right? I think what she gives there is a really good explanation of why socialized healthcare has to be part of it. And I think it also puts certain things that I've been seeing a lot of in the last few days in a little bit of perspective. You have been watching free public content from Give Them an Argument. To access every single episode of the show, the main show on Monday nights, all of the streams, all of the debate breakdowns, all of the patron-exclusive postgames on Monday nights, all of the patron-exclusive bonus episodes every week, and much, much more, go to patreon.com/Ben Burgis. I cannot resist ending this with, don't be foolish.